Okay, guys, I'm here with Dave Kranenburg from Kendal Hills Farm. So I've got a lot of questions for you. Are you ready for this?
Ready.
Am I making you slightly nervous? Because you might not know what these questions are.
Surprise me.
Okay.
I'm ready.
Okay, question number one's coming at you really fast. So I'm curious to know why you decided to choose farming as your career.
So before getting into farming, I worked on food issues, both at a community level and at a national level. So my passion for local food systems has run deep. Mm-hmm. And then when the opportunity came around that my in-laws were ready to sell their property, my partner and I looked at each other and said, there's no way we can let this go. So we wanted to take over this land, start looking after it. And that really meant me saying, well, the only way to look after 70 acres responsibly was to start farming it again, that we couldn't both have off-farm jobs. So it was like, let's get this place going again as a working farm. And that's what got me into farming.
So it was kind of more of by chance. It wasn't like a plan that you kind of saw for yourself. It was just like, I might as well do this.
It was by chance and by passion.
Yeah.
Like saying like food is definitely my passion. So it was a bit of a detour, I think, in terms of how people saw what I was doing with my life. But at its core, it made a lot of sense. Like my passion is for food, and so this is actually like literally the ground floor of like figuring out a good local food system. Yeah.
So what are the like exact steps that you have to take to get into farming, or for anybody that might like need advice for that, what would you say to them?
So I took my time. First was finding the piece of land, right? Which for my case, it was like, okay, there's this 70 acres that my wife grew up on. What can we be doing with it? By taking my time, I mean, like we spent our first 9 months walking the land, looking at the old buildings, the old equipment, and I guess for lack of a better term, saying like doing a market analysis of who, like what could we be doing here, but also what are the gaps that exist when it comes to what other people are growing.
Right.
So we looked at a lot of different options before settling on pastured poultry, mushrooms, and forest-raised pork, because that's what made sense for our land, and it's also where we saw that we didn't see other people offering it, so it started making sense there. So it was like, what could we grow, where could we grow it, and also then where can we sell it? Like, who is our customer going to be for all of this? So it was that combination that led to like us saying, okay, we could actually make a go of this farming thing. Like, this isn't crazy, it's possible.
So it's almost like it's very strategic in a sense, too. Like you have to do a lot of analyzing. It's a lot of patience as well, because you were saying the first 9 months is just you kind of like surveying everything before you can start.
Yeah, it is. It's like farming. If you're going to get into farming, it is a bit of a lifelong commitment. It's like it's hard. It's a hard thing just to jump into, because I think your upfront costs are pretty high. Like whether it's equipment or land or labor, it's like you're making quite a bit of an investment to get something off the ground, and so you have to be strategic. I think if we had just gone into it saying, hey, we can just grow blank, and I looked at a lot of different things, I don't think we'd be where we are today.
For sure.
So being a little bit patient and strategic before like getting going was a smart move, because it set us up for the success that we're having now. Yeah.
So for your business personally, how important is it for you to be able to sell your products at a farmer's market?
It's like farmers markets are the best entry place into a local food system. Like for us, it allowed us to start like doing a bunch of things. One, it gave us a chance to like get to know our products, which sounds funny, but it's like, yeah, I'm growing these really interesting mushrooms, but how do I explain that to anybody? Like at a farmer's market, I'm explaining the mushroom, how to use it, how it grows, like maybe 100 times a day. Gives you this really like great confidence on explaining the product to somebody, explaining how what you're doing might be a bit different than other options out there. It's also where all of our restaurants have found us, all of the grocers have found us, all of the other distributors have found us. So it's that entry point into going, like, it's really hard if you're starting off with a small scale farm to go from like, hey, I'm just growing, to I'm selling everything that I'm growing. I've described it as people as like growing food is easy, selling it is the hard part. Farmers markets are the place that allow you to start like developing those relationships so that you can start moving everything that you're growing.
Jumping off the point of you talking about relationships, I assume that you build a lot of relationships at the market itself in terms of like customers that might come. It's probably like a real sense of community here.
Yeah, without a doubt. for us, it was really important. We wanted that direct relationship with our customers, whether it's the chefs that buy from us here or the household. Having that direct relationship was really important. And it is actually really cool as you get to know your customers over time and you can exchange texts with them. Really weird aside that like yesterday, as I'm finishing deliveries to some restaurants, I hear on the radio they're doing some competition. They've just announced the name of somebody that has to call in within the next 5 minutes. One of our customers.
Oh.
I'm able to text him to say, call in now. He does. So now he's like, he won this radio contest, and he's
Wow.
like, that's amazing. And it's because I've got this relationship with him, like, which is just an absurd thing. Because if I was like an average grocery store,
Yeah.
it's not like the cashier at a grocery store is texting the person that just went through the checkout to say, hey, that's like an absurd example, but
That's a good example.
but there's these other things like that. Like you get to know what's going on in their lives, and like even now that we've been at this is our third season, like I've now seen people progress from getting like dating, getting married, having
Wow.
kids.
Wow.
Like so, and that's what I mean. Like you get to see
Within
you're part
3
of somebody's
seasons?
life. Yeah, some of these people are
Wow.
fast tracking, but it's that like you're part of their lives. I view it as they're inviting you and your food into their home, and you're part of their lives, and vice versa. So it's this really cool relationship that develops.
For sure. Now, in your opinion, what role do these farmers markets have for shoppers in Ontario to have access to local food?
First, I think it's where you get to see a lot of like different products. The food that ends up in grocery store has to be selected often for like different things than what people actually want, meaning food in grocery stores is often selected for its ability to be transported and to have a long shelf life. A lot of food, like fresh food and varieties of everything, have a shorter shelf life and don't transport well. And it's one of the reasons why, like, say, our mushrooms sell really well is like these varieties are not ones that you can find in a grocery store because their shelf life can be as short as 5 days. So meaning when I bring them here, I've picked them within the last like 48, 72 hours. So it gives people a lot more variety, and it also allows people to ask questions and have a more direct relationship, not just with the farmer. The farmer actually becomes almost like a proxy for the land with nature, right? So they're getting to ask questions about how was this animal raised? Why did you make this decision
Right.
about how this animal was raised? Why do you grow in this way? There's an educational component that is really, really interesting that I think for a lot of people that visit the farmers markets, it's that they're getting great local food, they're getting a much wider variety of options, they're getting the education, and they're also like getting to select food that meets their like value set. So, it could be they're getting like really great local chicken from a farmer, or they're getting, say, like heritage organic like pork from another farmer. Like there's these different options and that connect with somebody's values. I guess all of that leads to this idea of transparency. There's no question in that person's mind like where their food is coming from, how it's being grown, how many people have touched it, how it's being processed,
Yeah.
what chemicals might have been used along the way, how long it's been sitting there. Like all of the like doubts that people have about their food are eliminated when they visit a farmer's market.
Yeah, and that's really important. Well, you gave me so much insight today. Thank you so much for your time. And maybe within the next 3 seasons, you'll see me get married, see me having some kids. So we'll see
Oh, wow,
about that.
okay.
I jumped really far for that one.
Yeah, you heard it here first.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Thanks so much for your time.
Cheers. Thank you.